You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
Kamala Harris is following in the footsteps of Sleepy Joe by basically hiding away from the press and not granting any interviews. Of course, that's what she has to do because her leftist radical ideas are so unpopular with the American people that she would either have to bury herself by answering in the affirmative or lie straight up contradicting herself to everything she has said in the past. So of course, she can't come out and do any interviews. Now, Donald Trump, on the other hand, is doing what he always does. He engages constantly. If you remember when he was president, he would always stop by the press to answer questions and belittle them in their turn, which of course is what we're going to see today. So before we get to the clips, please like and comment so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Mr. President, you have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now. Tomorrow you'll be in Montana, which is not a swing state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this race seriously, particularly at a time where there is enthusiasm on the other side. Why haven't you been campaigning this week?
Because I'm leading by a lot and because I'm letting their convention go through. And I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing tremendous amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before. Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones, I'm speaking to radio, I'm speaking to television. Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country.
Can you believe she actually asked that question? Mr. Trump, you haven't done a campaign event in nearly a week. Why are you hiding from Kamala? I mean, it's completely ridiculous. The man is constantly on the move. He has 1 to 2 rallies every single week. He's always giving interviews. He's calling into talk shows. Commercial ads are finally running everywhere, right? The man has legs. He's going all over the place. So just the audacity of that question being asked is hilarious, right? It just shows how out of touch the mainstream media actually is. Of course, contradicting that with Kamala, who actually doesn't do any of those things. Granted, she has given a couple of big rallies, but she does not do any interviews. She will not speak off the cuff because basically the last time she tried that, she sounded like a blithering moron. But of course, they have other problems.
Drumbeat is growing, and it's a drumbeat not only from the Trump campaign, who's going to keep up this attack line, but it's also coming from reporters themselves. The veteran former White House correspondent Ron Fournier, he said that every day that she doesn't talk to the media is what he called political malpractice. And we're going to hear this drumbeat growing more and more until she does finally sit down for an interview. And for right now, also, it's an easy attack line for the Trump campaign to use.
And Essie, to Hadassah's points there, look, the Harris campaign is on TV a ton right now. They're getting a ton of attention. She is in people's TikTok feeds, Twitter feeds. They are seeing her. In the past, she's run into some trouble when she's had sit-down interviews. And do you think this is the right strategy? And do you think that the average voter really cares one way or the other?
Well, they should. And there's a difference between visibility and accountability. And being visible is great. She's not hiding. They're out there. They're doing rallies. They're meeting with voters. They're shaking hands. They're delivering one-liners. That's great. And I think Kamala Harris is giving Tim Walz a moment as well to introduce himself to the country. But they also need to be held accountable for their records. Hers as vice president and senator, his as a governor and a representative in the House. And they need to be accountable for an agenda that they have yet to present. Voters do want to know, and especially those swing state voters, guys. So Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will have to explain what their agenda is. They'll have to reconcile their records. Tim Walz in Minnesota has a very progressive record, some social policies that are far outside where the majority of American voters are. He'll have to explain that. He'll have to explain what the Harris agenda will incorporate of that, if anything. Will they merge their policies? Voters do want to know that.
And that's the key right there, right? They can't explain away all of their previous progressive positions, all of their statements, because they're all on video. You find them right now over on Twitter. You find them right now on YouTube. They can't back down from it because that will anger their leftist base, which, by the way, is way outside the mainstream of your average American voters. Yes, in these swing states. But of course, it's not just CNN that's noticing this. It's also the wacky leftists over at MSNBC.
The vice president planning on holding her own news conference anytime soon?
Yeah, Jose, well, I think that is actually the question of the hour. So it is not that she hasn't engaged press, but it has certainly been on the vice president's own terms, as kind of it has been for the last 3 years that she's been vice president. She goes back and she talks to the press on the plane. Those are typically off the record comments. If she does want to make a statement on the news of the day, we've seen her approach the press waiting under the wing of Air Force Two to give a statement, but then she turns away before questions, before answering any questions. And so I think that the public is expecting, or certainly the media is expecting, for her to engage more with reporters now that she has replaced Biden at the top of the ticket. Now, I know just covering her the last really 6 years that her engagements with the press are varied. Certainly as she's been vice president, we've known that we've seen some kind of damaging moments when her speaking to the press, particularly that first interview she did in 2021 with Lester Holt about her work on immigration. And so I think that that is something that's always been on the mind of her office and the vice president herself. Of course, we've reported that she has been doing some media training over her vice presidency. So I think that that's a major question, and time really, Jose, is running short for her to kind of present herself in front of the media.
And that's basically all Kamala Harris does. She comes out and reads a statement and then walks away, does not answer any questions, because everyone knows, including the reporters on the left, that she cannot give an interview. She cannot answer a question in a sensical way. She has to back off from all of that because Lester Holt, of all people, stumped her with easy questions like, why haven't you been to the border? At least say you're busy, as opposed to saying, oh, I've never been to Europe either. So that, of course, is all very entertaining to see. Now, the whole campaign mystique surrounding Kamala Harris right now is that she's doing very well. She's leading in the polls. However, if you look at pollsters you actually trust and not ones that consistently oversample Democrats by 5 to 10 points, then you might actually start to get a little bit of truth inking through, like we're seeing over here from Rasmussen. This, of course, is a poll conducted from August 1st and then the 4th through the 7th, consisting of 1,794 likely voters. And as you can see right here, Kamala Harris is on top, Donald Trump is on bottom. Among males, Kamala Harris has 44% and Donald Trump has 52%. Among females, Kamala Harris has 44%, Donald Trump has 47%. 18 to 39-year-olds, Donald Trump has 48%, Kamala Harris has 43%. 40 to 64%, Kamala Harris has 44, Donald Trump has 49. 65 plus, Kamala Harris has 45, Donald Trump has 51. Among the white voters, Kamala Harris 42, Donald Trump 53. Among black voters, Kamala Harris 61, Donald Trump has 30. That is a staggering number among black voters. Hispanics, Kamala Harris has 38, Donald Trump has 53. I mean, this is some crazy stuff. We've got the youth vote, we've got the black vote, we've got the Hispanic vote, and what's not up here on the screen right now is also the independent vote. Donald Trump is up on them by 11%, and something else interesting was coming along as well. Over here we can see we have a recent poll from Siena Research Institute that shows that in the state of New York, Donald Trump has gained 50% of likely Jewish voters in the state, compared to 49% for Kamala Harris. Now, that might not sound like an awful lot, but Joe Biden actually won Jewish voters in New York City by 68% to 30%. All right, that's a 20-point swing for Donald Trump. All right, so Kamala Harris, of course, by not picking Josh Shapiro and, of course, her stances on Israel and Hamas and all that stuff, it's really paying dividends in the wrong way for her. All right, but that's what we're going to be seeing. Kamala Harris simply falling apart. So as usual, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.